It's my album promotion night. It's crazy, man. What for? Get my brothers back in the chat real quick. That was a lie, man. That was a lie, man. The devil is a lie. I said the devil is a lie. It's the devil is a lie. Let me try this out. Yo, check it. Yo, the devil is a lie. You ain't got to be high. If you take you to stop this show. The devil is a lie. You ain't got to be high. Yo, the devil don't really know. I'm the G.O.D. You know me. I'm the G.O.D. You know me. I'm the hardcore player. Don't play. Everybody around the world they gonna see. Hey, hey. Let's go. That's it. The devil's a lie, won't lie. The devil's a lie, won't lie. People talking about must smoking that lie. The devil's a lie, don't lie. The devil's a lie, don't lie. The devil's a lie, don't lie. The show go on and don't lie. Must smoking that lie. You must be getting real high. The devil's a lie. And then the devil's a lie, he gonna try me. Devil's a lie, he can't buy me. Got my own bread, got my own head. Oh my God, there's an IV. It's sticking right in my arm. That is called the truth, so no harm. Don't be thinking that the truth, not the joke. Or don't know, don't be a song. Marco Vegas, I'm a hand left. My brother spoke to me, they hand left. Yeah, there we go. Man, this was a funk, man. I'm gonna tell you what to go. There we go. All right, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it, man. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell y'all what, man. Look at this. Real talk, man. Real talk, family. Real talk, family. I really appreciate you, family. You know, I appreciate you, and it's understandable that you appreciate me, because we here together. And I know sometimes I get loud. Man, I'm just excited. I'm excited about Moorish science. I'm excited that we have been visited by a prophet of God, and I'm going to be excited to the day that my flesh go into the dirt. It is what it is. But now, back to what I'm talking about. So I do the live stream. I do the live stream, man, and this is what I do. Anybody that knows me, I'm talking about my mother, my children, everybody that know me. No, man, this is what I do. But my thing is, man, when do we begin to disrespect sacred things? Like, if I don't agree with the church, does that mean that I need to disrespect somebody who's in the church? My grandmother who's in the church? If I don't agree with Orthodox or Sunni Islam, does that mean I disrespect my brother who's in has dedicated his life and sacrificed everything to dedicate himself? Is that right? Well, that's what happened. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna bring my brother in the chat, and this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna bring my brother in the chat. He'll introduce himself, and then I'm gonna carry on just a little bit until my other brother come in the chat, and then we going from there. So my brother Ali Bey, how you doing, brother? Islam? Are you there,
Islam,
my brother?
Yeah. Islam, I'm
brother
here, bro.
Ali Bey here. Brother, introduce yourself. They know who you are, because these are our family here. This is our people here. Reason why this is our people, because this thing act up 3 times. But I'm gonna tell you what happened, Ali Bey, real quick. You know I'm a talker, brother. You know I do this every time we talk on the phone. I'm a talk. I'm sorry. Anyway, I apologize. But look, this what happened. As you can see, my background is a little more big. I got a desk in front of me. You understand what I'm saying? So what I did was, let me tell you what I did. I remodeled a little bit. I moved some things around. And when I was moving it around, I did hear my router drop. Because I was doing so much, I left my router there, and I will guarantee you that something acted a fool for a second. So it might was YouTube, it might was the router, but we here now. But bring yourself in the chat. Talk to the people. Who are you? What you doing here? Where you from, my brother?
I'm Ali Bey, man. I'm I'm here. What you want?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell the family something about this. In the background, family, let me tell you, it's a whole group, a whole brotherhood of Ali's men. It's brothers that you don't see. I'm serious. It's a rack of them. I'm trying to pull them out. I'm going to tell you what I'm trying to pull out. My brother Web Bay. I'm going to pull him out to the forefront. Yeah, I put you on Front Street, Web Bay. That's right. I want to pull him to the front street and talk about how to perpetuate our independent schools and charter schools and educational system for our children. So I'm going to pull him out the background. Yeah. I'm going to pull you out the background, brother. Anyway. But Ali Bey is one of them brothers that I call when I'm on some political type, a civic type frame of mind. He one of them types. And Ali Bey is a good listener because I'm a good talker. And he a good listener. And he listen to you and then he come back to you and give you something. So I definitely appreciate my brother for all that he contributes to Moorish World. And I ain't talking about no Moorish World on YouTube. I'm talking about the Moorish World as a whole. But that's Ali Bey. He is who he is, and that's my brother. So the topic today is, what exactly is a Moorish American? You know what I would like to do? You know what I would like to do? Let me see something. I want somebody, let's do an interactive thing like this. Do anybody in the chat, I want to do this real quick, Ali Bey. Anybody in the chat, press 1 if you think you know what a Moorish American Muslim is. I'm going to ask 3 questions. Work with me, family, because it's a reason I'm doing this. Press 1 if you think you know what a Moorish American Muslim is. I'm going to wait for you. Now, I'm going to get my phone. I'm going to let somebody call in. Hold on. Oh, my phone dead. Don't worry about it. I ain't plug it out. I moved some stuff around. Okay. I got one brother. Master Woods Hill. Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. Now here we go. Let me give you my spill on what I think a Moorish American Muslim is. First of all, a Moorish American Muslim is a Moorish American who subscribes to the Muslim faith as described by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. A Moorish American is one who descendants of who is a descendant of Moroccans born in America and subscribes to the Muslim faith, the faith of Muhammad, the Islamic faith, as described by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's first and foremost. Now, secondly, we got to come to understanding that a lot of times on the internet, on Facebook and social media, those who say that they're Moorish American Muslims or Moors and we equate them to Moorish American Muslim, is not always the same thing. I might step on a few toes, but I love you, family. I might step on a few feet, but I love you. But at some point, we got to find out who's who and what's what. So first of all, we have to find out, what did Prophet Noble Drew Ali say a Moorish American Muslim is? And we can piece it together from different literature, different reports. But I'm going to tell you what I know to be fact. That Prophet Noble Drew Ali says this. In Acts 6. I think it's Acts 6. I don't have it on me, but I think it's Acts 6. With us, is it Acts 6? With us, all men must proclaim their nationality. And we're teaching our people that nationality and that divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians. Stop right there. Because these names, no, keep it going. Because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders. What is that? 1765, 1779 and last to 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now. And all men must proclaim their nationality to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. Before Prophet Noble Drew Ali, nobody was running around in America pushing the ideology that they were Moors. Nobody was running around pushing it. Not saying that Moors wasn't here. Nobody was pushing it. Prophet Noble Drew Ali pushed it, promoted it. Nobody. So if you call yourself a Moor and you wear this, you automatically by default are connecting yourself with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's just what it is. You know, it'd be no different than somebody walking around that's pale, calling themselves Jewish with a yarmulke on. You're going to connect them to the nation of Israel. I'm talking about the new nation of Israel. I'm not getting into whether they are or not. That's not the point I'm making. You're going to connect them to the Israel state, the newest Israel state. That's one of them Jews. That's what you may say. So when you see this, you automatically associate it with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And when you associate it with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in order to differentiate who's who, you have to know what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught. And that's what we're going to get into. We're going to get into what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught and what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't teach. Mind you, I'm not doing no interpreting. I'm not interpreting anything. I'm talking about letter for letter what the Prophet said. If you choose to interpret later, that's on you. But I'm going to tell you word for word what the Prophet said. And what the Prophet said, I believe that we can live by it. That's just me. I believe that we can live with it. I believe we can live by it. So all of this deep interpretation on some of these lessons is unnecessary. The deep interpretations that you want to interpret, you don't even interpret. That is the Moorish questionnaire. That is the Holy Quran. That is the Constitution and bylaw. See, this show right here is not only for Moors, but it's for other people, because other people don't know. They don't know what a Moorish American Muslim is. What you mean you're a Moorish American Muslim? Where your beard at? Why you ain't dye your beard red? Why you ain't praying like Muslims say? Why you ain't making Hajj, going to Mecca? Because that's what people assume. That's what a Muslim does, Muslim does. So let's go. Prophet Noble Drew Ali states this. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, first and foremost, was the first Moorish American Muslim. Can I get a 1 if anybody agree with that? If you don't agree, say 2 so I can go in further. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the first Moorish American Muslim. 1 if you agree, 2 if you don't. If I see a 2, I go in a little more. But Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the first Moorish American Muslim. Anybody?
I would definitely say he was the first self-proclaimed for sure, is without question. Without question. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like you said earlier, there was nobody else pushing that that identity before he was, you know what I mean? So
that's right.
You gotta give it to him.
Absolutely, absolutely. Brother Grimmy out there, we got 1, 2 in there. That means a 2 want us to go on and build on it a little bit. So I say Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the first Moorish American Muslim. Brother Grimmy out there, touch on that for a minute for me, brother. You there?
Islam.
What do you think? Do you think that Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the first? Second, was somebody before him? Who was the first Moorish American Muslim?
Praise Allah, more. I'm going to say I rise giving praise to Allah and honors to his holy and divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Honors to the forerunner, Marcus Garvey, and honors to all whom honors is due. So with that being said, more, I'm going to have to say that the brother is the first Moorish American Muslim. And I'm gonna give a quick example because that's a good question.
Excellent.
I see that I guess everybody can see my little icon that's coming up and popping up on the the screen as I talk. That old basically old picture of Noble Drew Ali that I have up there is actually the original picture that appeared on the first questionnaire that many people refer to as the 102s, out of the so-called hot box, if you will. But I don't know if everybody can see it, but the words say Noble Drew Ali is the founder of the uniting of the Asiatic nation of the states of North America. And this appeared on the first questionnaire, if you will. So, I'm gonna have to say that he was the first person. It's just like I can give an example of the first person, who basically stands up to establish a political entity or a political organization to put their ideals together. The brother was the first one, like you and Ali Bey said, who actually specifically talked about themselves as Moorish American and compiled an idea behind that. We know they were Moors or quote unquote Moorish Americans here or whatever before the prophet, people who linked back into the Moorish Empire and into the Islamic identity. We would be fools to say that didn't occur. But the bottom line is this brother was the only one who socially, politically, spiritually, and economically, if you will, galvanized behind the idea of being a Moorish American. And I know I heard brother or Edwards L basically deal with this when that brother said, this day, the prophet said, this day I've made you a nation, and our nation commenced with the first Moorish American parade. So the brother was, the savior, if you will, in the sense that he was able to galvanize the people who had lost their identity behind, this ideal, and that's basically, my short little draw on that.
Exactly. So let's deal with the first part. We know And I think everybody in the chat will agree. Whether you subscribe to the teachings of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali or not, I think everybody in the chat would agree that they understand what the Moorish American part is all about, the nationality part. I hope they would, because that is very basic and simple, and that's one thing that we drill on all the time. Now, what about this Muslim part? A person in the chat said, what is the difference between Muslim and Muslim? Anybody want to grab that? I'm gonna follow right behind y'all now, because we're going to clear up this thing word for word. You know, what's the difference between, now, Moorish American, it relates to where we from and where we at. Descendant of Moors, descendant of Moroccans, and born in America. Nationality, we get that. I think the chat room will get that. But now, what is the difference between the word Muslim and Muslim? Anybody want to touch that for me on here?
Islam. Well, I like to Islam. I like to demonstrate on that more. Can you hear me just for a second? Because I know Brother Ali Bey probably and yourself wanted to go on that. And this is my opinion.
Hey, brother, let me tell you something. Brother, go in. If people get tired and they decide to leave out, that's fine. They can come back and view it later. But this is one of them topics that I think we got to clear up. And I'm not going to hold people too long on this topic, because I'm going to hit hard and get out your way. So go ahead, my brother. Break it down as best you can, where there'll be no stone unturned. Handle your business, my brother.
Islam. Again, this is like I'm going to have to say, this is Brother Grimmy on L. And, you know, I look at things and I think about them from a logical, a historically accurate, a scholarly accurate perception. And really, you know, there is no difference between the word Muslim and Muslim. And anybody would be hard pressed to find any etymological linguistic evidence that there is a difference between the two said words. Because if you say that a Muslim is different from a Muslim, you would have to go back in the annals of history to find something, you know, history outside of a Muslim and a Muslim being the same thing. And if you tie into the history and the teachings and the traditions of the Holy Qur'an of Mecca, you are a Muslim and a Muslim. Basically, to make a long story short, again, the word Muslim is nothing more the English equivalent of the word Muslim as far as pronunciation. And the reason that Prophet Noble Drew Ali uses that terminology of the Muslim, the M-O-S-L-E-M, or Muslim, is because that was the popular usage of the term at that time. You know, the kind of Victorian American literature and stuff that was out that was talking about these things had the word Muslim in it. So it was popular, if you will, or considered correct to use that terminology. And know that there are a lot of, and we need to talk about this too. You know, there is what I call a lot of Moorish spookism there, whereas they had people who are not necessarily scholarly and not trying to be scholarly, so they made up a lot of history and made up a lot of things, and they interjected it into the Prophet's teachings. They interjected it into the Moorish paradigm. So you would hear somebody say, oh, I'm not a Muslim, I'm a Muslim. You know, no, that's incorrect, because when you read the Prophet's literature, and you know, he's talking about the Moorish leader historical message to America, or what it is Islam, you know, the article that's also in that pamphlet, it ain't doing nothing more than tying back into that same history of Islam as originally established by the Holy Qur'an of Mecca. And you know, when you talk about the traditions about of that the Arabs have over there, those are things that they developed, you know, after the Prophet came along, some pre-Islamic cultures that they engrafted into Islam and say, oh, well, if you're a Muslim, you got a red beard, or if you're a Muslim, you don't wear underwear, or whatever. You know, those are things that come from them, but that is not representative of Islam. But, you know, back to the whole Muslim and Muslim thing, you know, one of the things, in my opinion, that really needs to be cleaned up in the Moorish temple, inside the Moorish Science Temple of America, as well as these fringe Moorish groups outside of the Moorish Science Temple of America, is the Moorish spookism, those things that can't be proven. Because, you know, we can remember that Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that they're going to have Moors coming into the movement with their eyes wide open. And, you know, you have a lot of these young individuals, young people coming up, and they are very smart and intelligent, and you're not going to be able to tell them anything like Muslim or Muslim is two different things, if you will. And I know a lot of brothers and sisters, you know, may disagree with me in that regard, but, you know, we have to start being responsible about some of the things that we say in regard to the Moorish Science Temple of America, in regards to the Prophet, and you know, the movement in general. More like, let me give you this last example, right? Like, a lot of Moors, you know, used to say that Benjamin Banneker, or quote unquote Ben Bey Fez. I was talking to Ali Bey about this a little earlier. They used to say that Ben Bey Fez was in the Masonic museum, and people used to make goo gobs of money talking about this, goo gobs of money hosting trips and stuff to the Masonic Museum in DC to go see quote unquote Ben Bey's Fez. So, you know, I put the pen to the pad, and I wrote an article in that regard, if this was really Ben Bey's Fez. And, you know, when I did the research on the actual Fez that everybody went and was enamored in, and almost so-called worship, basically, that was just a display of an auxiliary house of the Masonic Lodge called the Mystic Order of the Veiled Prophets of the Enchanted Realm. And, you know, when you look at the Fez, it's basically a marked Fez with the symbol of basically of a European Arab with some horns on it, and they just had the word Ben Bey on it. But if you do any study or research about the Mystic Order of the Veiled Prophets of the Enchanted Realm, you would see that that particular organization, I can't remember the exact date of the inception of that organization, but I believe it was somewhere in the 1940s, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on it. I hadn't addressed this topic in a while. But to deal with that, you know, I wrote a paper, you know, in that regard, telling people that that was not Ben Bey's Fez, because number one, if it was Ben Bey's Fez, it would be older than that. It would be more corroded, if you will, and aged. And then number two, why in the world would Ben Bey has a Fez with the European head with some horns on it? You know, just these things that Moors just take and just accept wholeheartedly, that are just totally illogical. And if the man was a Muslim, why would he have a marked Fez? So, you know, once I put that paper out more and we talked about that, you don't really see, at least I don't, you don't really see a lot of people going around talking about Ben Bey's Fez is in the Masonic Museum. So really, you know, we have to deal with these Moorish spookisms, you know, in the movement that discredit the legitimacy of it. And one of those things is the spookism that a Muslim and a Muslim is two different things. Now, we might not necessarily do everything that those people do in the Arab world or different spots of the Muslim world, but there's no difference between those two terminologies, except Muslim is an English rendition of the Arabic pronunciation of Muslim, and it appears in all of the older Islamic literature, and that's what Noble Drew Ali and the Moors were dealing with at that time. That, I guess, Victorian era type of English in the documents that talked about Islam spelled it that way.
Islam, brother. Go ahead, brother Ali Bey.
I would just add on, just from a different perspective, just to add on to that, that both Muslim, M-O-S-L-E-M, and Muslim, M-U-S-L-I-M, are both English spellings of an Arabic word. They're both English renderings of an Arabic word. It just so happens that M-O-S-L-E-M is an older English rendering of the Arabic word than the M-U-S-L-I-M. However, they both...
say that one more time.
Gremion he actually already said it earlier. Right. He said it pretty much in the beginning.
We need to keep hitting this stuff though.
Okay.
People act like they don't hear later on. Because we're going to have somebody talk about Muslim. It means, you know, that you came across the Gibraltar or something. No. They start making up stuff. So I need you to say it one more time.
Yeah. Moors like making up stuff. However, yeah, that's real funny. But anyway, Muslim and Muslim are both English renderings of an Arabic word. It just so happens that the spelling M-O-S-L-E-M is an older English rendering than M-U-S-L-I-M. They're both English words. They're both English renderings of the actual Arabic word, which is, they both carry the same root, S-L-M. They're both rooted with the triconsonantal root, S-L-M, which is the same root for salam, which is the same root for shalom, which is the same root for Islam, and so forth. The same triconsonantal root. So at the root of both words is the SLM, which means they have the same root meaning. They come from the same exact root. They just happen to be two English renderings of an Arabic word with the same ancient triconsonantal root. You can't change that. It is what it is. It's the same daggone word, just spelled in English two different ways. One just happens to be older than the other. That's it.
Hey, brother, you agree with y'all. Make it so simple. Y'all make it so plain. So now, listen, family, listen. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. See, I can't even camel back off of that because it's so right and exact. There's nothing more I can say to that. You know, it's the same exact word, meaning, different spelling. When I say same, because somebody said, oh, you said the same word, they're not the same word. You know what I mean. Stop playing. Now let's move on from that. All right. Now let's get to something real quick. What exactly is a Muslim? We got a bad misunderstanding of what a Muslim is. We think a Muslim is a Muslim who dress a certain way, talk a certain way, pray a certain way, which is true in a sense, but not
right. But you know what? Let me just say something about the dress thing, because I've seen certain Moors say certain things about the way Moorish Americans in particular dress, you know, because Moorish Americans wear suits and you know, sometimes they wear robes that are very similar. If you look at some of the robes that Moorish Americans wear, they're very, very similar to what you might see in ancient Sumer. Very similar, very, very similar. However, some people have a problem with the way Moorish Americans dress, and they think that they're not dressed in the traditional garb or jalabia, if you will, the Middle Eastern people. However, the very interesting thing about the way Moors dress, even historically, if you look at images of the Moors from the Maghreb and the Moors, in Andalusia and so forth, notice that those Moors dress very colorfully, very much like the northern Nigerians still dress to this day. If you look at images of northern Nigerians, you'll see they look, in terms of the way they dress and the colorfulness of their dress, the way that they dress up their horses and so forth, with all of these different colors and so forth, very much like how the Moors of antiquity, when you're dealing with Andalusia and so forth, dress, and the Moors of other places of West Africa. They dress very colorfully. They don't dress anything like how you see these people in the Middle East dressing with all white. You know what I'm saying? You'll see them with the all white and then sometimes a white turban, and maybe, they might dress up the turban a little bit, but the Moors and the images of Spain and West Africa, and like I said, look at the images of the northern Nigerians. You'll see these people look identical to the Moors in Spain. The colors and all of this, this fabric and this really fanciful adorning of their clothes and the garments and so forth. They dress nothing like those people in the Middle East. So it's really strange to me when I see different Moors try to get on Moorish Americans for not looking like people in the Middle East. That's not even culturally, or in terms of our culture and our customs from West Africa into Andalusia. That's not even the way those Moors dress. All you got to do, like I said, is look at the images of the ancient Moors. They don't look like those people from the Middle East in terms of their dress. Go ahead, bro.
In fairness, not it's more people outside of the Moorish doctrine that criticizes how Moors carry it, how they dress. Those who that conform to what we see, what we will call Arab sort of Islam type of dress and things of that nature. Those would look at us and say, man, you don't even dress like a Muslim. We have our Moorish brothers too, but I've heard a lot of people that don't even subscribe to Islam, and they look at you when you say, yeah, I'm a Muslim. They look at you like, huh? You're not dressed like a Muslim.
They're hating.
Yeah.
Those are haters that are vying for the #1 spot in the Moorish movement. They all like the interesting thing about the Moorish movement is that everybody wants to be the top person or the top group or whatever the case is.
Speak on it more.
They're all just throwing shade at each other, and it's really not founded. It's really not founded in anything real. It's just hate and shade. And so when dudes start talking about, oh, you're not dressed like a Muslim, they're really telling you you're not dressed like the pale Arabs in the Middle East. That's really what they're saying, because they're not telling you that look at the way the Moors in Spain dress. Look at how they fancied up their turbans. Look at how they fancied up their garb and so forth. Those people look nothing like the way you see these Middle Easterners dressed today with them plain white robes on and so forth. Our people always was fancy. Always was fancy. I mean, we always tried to have swag with whatever we did. They wore their turbans slanted. You understand what I'm saying? Look at some of them pictures. These cats were wearing their turbans slanted. Same way cats will cock their hats to the side. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Yeah, hold up. My brother just came in the chat. I said, came in the trap. We ain't in no trap. We ain't in no trap. He just came in the chat, and when you say we wear ass stuff with basically some swag, I'm looking at my brother picture, right? Like, there it is, right there.
Swagged out. He swagged out. Look at that picture. He swagged out.
Welcome, my brother Lasana Tunica to the chat. Islam Muslim.
Islam, Mo. Buddy, how you doing, Mo?
Brother, I'm doing very well, because the brother say, I even seen some terms. It's like to the side. We was basically putting my own twist. He said we was swagged out. We didn't dress all that old one uniform type of way. We was swagged with it. You know what I mean? We get it popping. And then I look at your picture. What?
Yes, sir.
What?
Tunica Al don't look like no pale Arab from the desert.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my brother Tuna Gill, when we talking about the day, I'm pretty sure you've seen the title of the show. What exactly is a Moorish American Muslim? We covered what a Moorish American is. We covered that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the first Moorish American. We covered that he was the first Moorish American Muslim. And now he sets the standard. What I was building up to from right there, Grimion L and my brother Ali Bey, and now my brother Tuna Gill, what I was building up to is that Prophet Noble Drew Ali sets the standard because he is the first one. He is the first one that coined the phrase. He is the first one that instructed anybody outside of himself as to what it is by the will of Allah. He is the standard bearer. He is. So when we look at dress, we see that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, when he went to Cuba, what did he have on? He had on a suit. We see the Prophet Noble Drew Ali in other pictures, he have on his turban. Then other pictures, he have on a turban with the feather. Another picture, he have on the turban, what they say the sunflower seed. And another picture, he have on the robe. And another picture, let me tell you something. The Moors, our people, are the founders of all culture, the founders of all dress. There is no one specific way that a Moorish American Muslim dress, because we the founders of it all. The European was in the cave. He never knew how to sew a cloth. You know, he was still wearing fur. He knew nothing about no cotton. He knew nothing about the fibers of the grasses and the fibers up in the weeds to sew things together. He knew nothing about that. So there is no such thing as dressing like a European. If dressing like a European is a way to dress, then what you need to do is go cut a cowl up and wrap it around your back with blood on it. Do some stuff like that. That's European dress. Because as my brother Ali Bey pointed out, that even in the Maghreb, you would see that the Moors were dressed in what you would call today Western gear, Western clothes. You know some of them pictures I'm talking about, my brother Ali Bey? Where the Moors, they got the puff sleeves out, the puff pants out, what they would call knickerbockers. They created this stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
We created that. But because we wear jeans and we wear pants, man, we created pantalon. We did that. Europeans was in caves. It is what it is. History records. And that's not a racist or a crazy statement. They record, they tell you, you know, it is what it is. They give you the progression from a caveman all the way up into man. That's their thing. But nevertheless, I don't want to get too worked up. Brother Tuna Gill, I need a question from you, my brother. I got to ask you, my brother. I got to ask you, my brother. What exactly is a Moorish American Muslim as it relates and correlates with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali teachings, brother? Because I'm trying to let the people know in the chat that there's a lot of misunderstanding as to what a Moorish American Muslim is. Because we have some people that come out and they show themselves, and you say, "What? That's an L or a Bay? That ain't what I know to be a Moorish American Muslim." So, my brother, give us a quick drop as to what exactly is a Moorish American Muslim. Take it any way you want to.
Praise Allah, Mo. Yeah, well, first I want to, of course, give all praise due to Allah. Highest honors to His holy and divine Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors to the forerunner of the Prophet, and honors to all who honors are due. What is a Moorish American Muslim? First of all, the Moorish American aspect is one who has proclaimed his nationality as such.
Yes, sir.
He's a Moorish American. Now, one school of thought that Moorish Americans are only those who are members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And there are other schools of thought that may be substantiated by the Prophet's work and writing with respect to the Moorish God, that all our people that are called Negroes, Black, and Colors are Moorish Americans. I'm not going to get into which one of those sides have more validity or not. But the prophet, when he was talking about what was the proper nomenclature for the people, and he referred to 22 million at that time. And I don't think 22 million was card-carrying members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's just some logic.
That's right. That's right.
As far as,
brothers, can I add real quick? Before I got this thought, real quick. Even in our Moorish Holy Qur'an, it tells you, and these are the Moorish Americans. The Moorish Americans are, and he began to name those of us who are right here in the Americas. But you can take it away, my brother. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He referred to the Mexicans and Moorish Americans as a nation in North America.
That's right. Absolutely.
And the Muslims are those who hold to the faith that there is no God, there's only Allah. And Muhammad is his prophet. Not his only prophet. Obviously, we don't subscribe to the last prophet because nations are ever being born. And our particular situation coming up from slavery, as Booker T said, and our people yearning for their own self-identity, yearning for independence, yearning for representation as Americans. That yearning produced one from our loins and our wounds, not coming from somewhere else to come save us, but one we produce that came with a plan for salvation. And when we salvation, we mean the science of happiness, love, true peace, freedom, justice, economic empowerment, and entering the affairs of men as a self-defined entity, not being defined by somebody outside of self. And of course, that's Noble Drew Ali. And if you cross-reference and compare what he brought to the Moorish Americans with what other prophets brought to their peoples as it relates to a scripture, a prayer methodology, a creation myth, an economic plan, laws to govern their society by, spirituality, esoteric degrees, if you want to take it that deep. He gave it all, but the genius was in such small packages. And oftentimes those who want this very detailed, involved, super scientific explanation of things, they miss the truth because of the simplicity.
That's sir.
But if you follow the footsteps in the small book, then you'll be led to all the science and you want. You know what I'm saying? Right. If he mentioned the Vedas, go check the Vedas and you'll go see volumes and volumes of Vedas. But he mentioned that. All he did was mention it. And that's the other thing. He exposed our people to so many different schools of thoughts, so many different cultures within that little pamphlet called the Holy Qur'an of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Geography. And then the Catechism of the Quran questions for Moorish Americans, the question and answer format. And some say it's like Aristotle. You know, we know the Moors in Spain, they preserve some of the Greek works as well, but we know that methodology didn't begin with the Greeks. But it's in line with that Moorish thought in preserving the ancient world for the modern world in the way he designed it. But that being said, within that you have the moral teachings, historical knowledge, esoteric lore, mentioning certain things so that we'll be versed in the history of Islam, like Mahmud in 1492. You know what I'm saying? He was giving our people Islamic literacy in what had happened in the world as it relates to our Islamic past and our forefathers. So, and he was propagated the faith of Muhammad. So a Moorish American Muslim, we propagate and live in harmony with the principles of the faith of Muhammad.
Islam.
Let me just say this more.
Yes, sir, brother. Come on.
Because again, the prophet didn't fall out the sky. He was a man that walked, put his pants on, you know what I'm saying, ate food, had sex, lived, defecated, urinated, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So that being the case, some of his experiences, according to Brother Walker, who's one of the last surviving Canaanite temple members, one of his experiences in the Canaanite temple was his insistence upon teaching Islam. And there was a coup d'etat within the Canaanite temple because Dixon, who was like the prophet's right hand in the Canaanite temple, he would have more Christian leanings. And the more Christian leaning within the Canaanite temple, they eventually ousted the prophet because he insisted upon teaching Islam. That's very important to put that his experience in that regard into perspective, and why he chose to include the 18 missing years of Jesus for those who love Jesus. Because he know that, you know, from his own experience, how people felt about Jesus. So, I mean, why wouldn't he include that? It's, you know, even if you don't view him from a quote unquote divine aspect, but if you just come out of your biases and judge him in his own time in the teens and 20s and what he came up with for our people and what he was able to implement and demonstrate, not just talk about, you can't help but come away with the healthy respect for this brother.
Absolutely.
And you would instantly be baffled why we never heard from him and why he's not held in as high as esteem. But the reason being is because our people just don't know him. And that's on us. You know what I'm saying? So a Moorish American Muslim is one who has proclaimed his nationality as a Moorish American, who followed the faith of Muhammad and the great prophet of Ali in America.
Great.
Period.
Absolutely. So we got a brother in the chat, and I didn't want the chat get too far. This is a brother that's always rolling with Moorish World TV. My big brother. I always call everybody my big brother. So you might be little, might be tall, might be old, you might be young. You my big brother. I look up to you. You know. The thing is this. He asked, the question was, do the Moorish, let me read it so I don't mess it up, because I'm definitely going to touch it. And it is the way, it's my point of view, the way I see it. The brother asked the question, he says, do the Moors hold the Quran of the, let me see if I get it, the Quran of Mecca, basically asking, do the Moors hold the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America in more high regard than the Holy Quran of Mecca? I think that, oh, here you go. I got a question. Do Moors hold the Quran or the Moorish Quran in high regard? I want to touch on that for a second. First and foremost, my brother Nasir put in the chat that we derive our power and authority from the Holy Quran of Mecca or the Great Quran of Muhammad, which is interchangeable, the same exact thing. Nevertheless, the difference is that the Holy Quran of Mecca, although a universal book, it was specifically catered to the people of the region of whom Prophet Muhammad lived amongst. So some of the lessons are universal and some of the lessons are universally specifically catered to that group of people. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America deriving its power and authority from the Great Quran of Muhammad or the Great Quran of Mecca. It does the same exact thing. It is specifically catered to our problems, our issues, our condition. I say this in the temple all the time, that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, his mission was so unique because out of all the prophets that came to people to uplift them once they were lost and they lost their way, whether it was Prophet Muhammad, coming to his people. Whether it was Jesus 2,000 years ago in Palestine, trying to get the European, the iron hand of oppression, Rome, off of his people and enlighten his people and bring them one with the Father. Whether it was Buddha, whether it was Krishna, whomever it was. And we can bring it all the way up. Let me say this first. Whomever this prophet was that came to their people, one thing uniquely that our prophet had to do that they didn't have to do, he came to a people that did not know who they were. Until this day, 2016, we still run around calling ourselves colors. Muhammad didn't have that problem. Yeah, these were some stiff-necked people. They was burying children. They was committing all type of fornication. But once they decide to follow the Prophet Muhammad, they didn't have to figure out which tribe they were from, what nation they were from. When the people that Jesus talked to, his people, they knew. Matter of fact, go back before that. If you want to believe the story or whether you don't. But let's look at the significance of the story. When the people were put into bondage, the Hebrew-speaking people, the Israelites, were put into bondage for 400 years under Pharaoh. When they came out, they knew that they were Israelites and they spoke Hebrew. We don't speak any African tongues that I know of fluently as of yet. Not many of us that comes out the stock of slavery. Some of us do, some of us do. We catch some words, a few of us, I'm sorry, a few of us. But for the most part, our language now is English. So we came out of slavery without our language. We came out there calling ourselves black, colored, coon, shine, all of these crazy names. The names that we didn't carry in before slavery. We didn't carry these names. So what I'm saying is this. Do the Moorish American hold the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America in more high esteem than the Holy Quran of Mecca? The answer is no. However, we do recognize that it was specifically designed by the great God Allah and through his prophet Noble Drew Ali to address our specific concern. And no other book could address our specific concern as it relates to us losing everything, even our identity. And that's just what it is. That's my spill.
Islam.
That's my spill.
Islam.
So the prophet Noble Drew Ali is a prophet indeed. No prophet had that task. None before him. And for that alone, and coming off my brother Tunica L said, you know, look at the time period. And I say this all the time. We truly look at the prophet Noble Drew Ali through the eyes of 2016. And then we wonder why we don't get it. Although it's very relevant and it's very critical in 2016 and beyond, but imagine him talking this kind of stuff in 1913. We say we don't speak radical. That was radical. That was radical to say. Again, I had this talk with a sister. I said, listen to this, and then I'm going to pass it back to the panel. I said, one thing that we don't understand is that it was normal for us to call ourselves black, coon, shine, Negro, and all of these things. But check this out. Check this out. This is why the prophet is so. Woo! This is why the prophet is a prophet. One of the reasons. We look at all of these documentations where we go to Social Security and we say, what should I mark? Black or white? We go get a driver's license. What should I mark? Black or white? We go to get all these official documents. Black or white? What should we mark? The Prophet Noble Drew Ali addressed these issues before they was officially put on documents that you have to sign every day. Those documents didn't even exist. There was no Social Security back then. There was no motor vehicle back then. Before they was officially put on everyday domestic documents that we commonly use today, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali already addressed it, that you are not these things. Before that, man. So listen, this is why the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is so critical to our growth and development spiritually and socially. But with that being said, let me pass it on to my brother Grimmy on here. So we define what a Moorish American Muslim is. Now, we're not going to run straight to Islamism real quick, right so fast. But I think we're going to have to do a part 2 because we had a technical difficulty. So what I'm going to do is this. This is going to be part 1. I want to ask the chat room. Did we address what a Moorish American Muslim is? I want, because this is a learning session today. Did we address what a Moorish American Muslim is? This is part 1. Press 1 for me, please. If you think we did not address it, press 2. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say. So 1, if we address what a Moorish American Muslim is, and we're going to go in a little bit more further because we want to find out is how you pray make you a Muslim, what you say make you a Muslim, the language you speak make you a Muslim. Oh, we're going to address that real quick too. And we're going to do a part 2 on this. And I hope my brother Tudor got the time to be here. I hope my brother Grimmy and my brother Ali had the time to be here. But we're going to go and we're going to go again. Okay. All right. We good. We good. Everybody got 1. We good. Praise be to Allah. We good. So now, Grimmy on here. I want to ask you, do a Muslim or Muslim have to, we already test dressing, have to speak any particular language? Are you there, my brother Grimmy on here?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Now,
you know,
because I know you got some background noise. Y'all sound like y'all. All right. So I noticed that the reason why I asked this question because my brothers, man, let me tell you something. My best friend is a Sunni Muslim. I'm talking about all out. Him and his wife, all out. Best friend from 13 years old. He all out. I'm all out Moorish. He all out Sunni. And we ride out together. So when I say things, I'm not saying nothing to offend anybody. If I say something about Christian, let me tell you something. I got family members that Christian. I don't want to offend them. I'm just trying to get you the facts. I got my best friend is Sunni Muslim. His wife is my best friend. She's Sunni Muslim. I don't want to offend nobody. I just want to get you the facts. That's it. That's it. So, but I do notice, Grivion, that a lot of people put a lot of stake in if we can speak Arabic because we would assume that Arabic is the native tongue of Islam, and if you don't speak Arabic, then you are in error and you may be getting the message wrong. But I do know that's why the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was sent to us and he spoke English like us. But nevertheless, is there a specific language like Arabic? Does Arabic is, let me say it like this, my brother, and your understanding, is Arabic a prerequisite to be a Muslim?
In that regard, I would have to say negative, because I mean that would be to basically say that what is the reason behind all of these languages? The creator created everybody of all of these different nations, all of these different tongues, and all of these different languages, if you will, and to say that you have to speak this particular language because you know, these degrees of information is coming to your land, you know, for me, it would be basically illogical, you know. However, you know, I suggest that, you know, everybody can learn any type of language you can get your hands on, whether it's Spanish, Arabic, French, Chinese. You know, you're supposed to be a well-rounded individual in that regard, because that's basically what Islam is all about: is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So I would say learn it, and you know, if you want to get a basic proper understanding of the Quran of Mecca, and you want to learn Arabic, I say go right ahead, but it's not a prerequisite for submitting to the will of God. I mean, those things are illogical to you know, to say that you have to speak this particular language, and you know, it'll give you a better understanding of that text to read it in its original language. But there's no prerequisite. And basically, you know, to say that is a prerequisite, you know, is basically a cultural subjugation, if you will. It's linguistic subjugation, if you will, and it's trying to turn a man into how would you say, basically what you are, you know, in essence. So you know, that's basically where I stand on that. So you know, I'm going to say peace. I say learn it, learn any language you possibly can.
So basically, we saying that Arabic is not a prerequisite to be a Muslim or a Muslim. It's not a
negative. Not.
Whatever misconception we have. Okay, to the Gale, my brother. Oh no, Ali Bey, you there, my brother? Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm here, bro. I'm here.
Ali Bey. One of another misconception, and then we can bring it all home. Another misconception is that when you call yourself a Muslim or a Muslim, you have to subscribe to prostration. And I say it like I say it for a reason, that you have to subscribe to prostration. Is that true,
right,
or untrue? What is this? Can you give us something on that, my brother?
Well, in terms of salat, you talk, what you're talking about is making salat and the particular form in which the salat is being made. You know, I've done it because that was a part of, you know, the customs that we dealt with when we came through the Ansar community. However, making salat is a part of the 5 pillars. You know what I'm saying? It is a part of the 5 pillars, you know, but in terms of the actual prostration, you know, in terms of the forms, you know, I'm not sure that is necessarily a requisite in terms of what makes you a Muslim. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that, because at the end of the day, and the bottom line, like Brother Grimion just already mentioned, is that, you know, outside of forms and prostrations and garments and whatever else, at the end of the day, every Muslim will tell you that a Muslim is one who submits to the will of Allah. And at the end of the day, you're talking about a faith. You're talking about a faith, having a faith in the one God, and recognizing that, as Brother Tunikal said, you know, I don't even use the word God, but that there is no God but Allah. You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, that's what really matters. That's what really matters.
And anything you want to add to that, my brother Tunikal?
Yes, sir, Mo. One thing I want to say with regard to that question about the esteem that, or lack thereof, of Moorish American Muslim as it relates to the Holy Quran of Mecca. You know, I like to view it similar to the Old and New Testament. The Holy Quran of Mecca is Moorish American Muslims' Old Testament. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple is our New Testament by our prophet, who some likened to Jesus in that regard, in the similarities of what they taught. So that being said, within the Holy Quran of Mecca, devoid of all the customs, are specific principles that Muslims are to live by, and the customs bring them together in the community. There are sheikhs and scholars of Islam that have reached into the Holy Quran of Mecca and pulled out the principles. And they'll tell you that the most pervading principle in the Holy Quran of Mecca is justice. Right? But there are other principles, of course, charity, prayer, brotherhood of man, the unity of Allah, as well as the oneness of Allah, the one and the many. If you look at the Moorish Holy Quran, devoid of customs, and pull out the principles of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, you will see that is by and large the same principles as in the Holy Quran of Mecca. So foreseeably, if a Moorish American Muslim only lived by the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, in principle and in practice, it will produce the same Muslim or Muslim as an adherence to the principles that's in the Holy Quran of Mecca. But those who have opinions, they haven't done that. They haven't compared and contrasted the principles that's in each book to see whether they are aligned or they're contradictory. But if they do so, they'll find that there's alignment there, that Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't veer off the path of what Islam is and what Islam was before the Prophet Muhammad. Because even the Holy Quran of Mecca said Ibrahim was a Muslim. He brought it in a particular form. I know it throws some people because we have this brother in contemporary times. You know, all prophets had to be ancient. But if you compare and contrast the principles taught and the program brought, then you will see the alignment.
Islam. I'm gonna give my take on prayer, because a lot of times it seems as though there's a lot of confusion in that area, and I'm glad that all of us can touch on it. Brother Gribion, are you there, my brother?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
You want to touch on that, brother? Is prayer as salat, as we know our Sunnah following brothers subscribe to, is it a prerequisite of being a Muslim? You know, because that's one of the first things people will point out.
Right. You know, well, you know, my whole thing is this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got a big echo, but I can hear you.
Okay, right. My whole thing about that, beloved, is this. Me, I love God.
That's right.
And if I'm by myself or something, or I'm somewhere, man, I'll fall down on my face before the true and ever living Almighty God, man. Just thank Him for everything the blessings He put in my life. And if I'm standing up with 5 fingers on the left and 2 fingers on the right, I'm just as happy. You know, that's just my take on it. But you know, but looking at it from a logical perspective, when you go to the Holy Quran of Mecca and you look at what they prescribe as prostration, and this is just my take. If you look at what is prescribed and as far as prostration or salat in the Holy Quran of Mecca, and this is Gribion speaking, you can't even really compare that to what a lot of those brothers and sisters do salat today. You know, a lot of that stuff, you know, had been added by successors, if you will, or other imams, and different traditions have been you know, fold your hands, you know, do this many rakat and so on and so forth. But you know, if you study the salat or the prostration, that is set forth in the Holy Qur'an of Mecca. I mean, it's a real simple formula in that regard. And, you know, man added all of the other ritualism, but me, you know, man, I done been through so much. I know the beneficence and the mercy of Almighty God. I stand up and praise him, or I fall flat on my face and praise him. That's the kind of Moorish American Muslim I am. You know, a lot of people, you know, they all, you know, we talk about nationality and that, you know, those things are good. You know, a lot of people just nationality, you're a Negro, I'm a Moorish American, blah, blah, blah. But Moors, man, we need to get back tuned in with God. So me, you know, I taught the God man degrees in a relationship with the God in us and the divine, and I'll fall in humbleness before it, or I'll stand, you know, next to my brother Tunica L and Ali Bey and all my other brothers with 5 fingers on the left and 2 fingers on the right, and I say, Allah, Father of the universe, Father, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I just continue that demonstration because I know that supreme God is my salvation by night and by day. And, you know, and the universal creator is not sitting on a cloud somewhere saying, oh, you know what? You held your hands to your side while you're doing salat. I'm not listening to you. Or you held 5 fingers on the left and 2 fingers on the right. I'm not listening to you. You was on your knees. I'm not listening to you. You know, these are things that man basically created, you know, creating separation and differentiation. But, you know, in the chapter 35 of the Holy Qur'an of America, you know, prophet's instruction on religion, we say that the Almighty is incomprehensible. So those little nuance that we make such a big deal out of, you know, looking for in our heart is really like the intention, purity, love, things. Those are the things that God is looking for. He's not looking how clean you scrubbed your nose or your chin before you went into the masjid, or how pressed your pants were before you went into the church, or you decided to wear a fresh pair of slacks and a really, really, really nice shirt. You know, and to me, that's what our Moorish lessons, if you will, that's in the Holy Qur'an of the Moorish Science Temple, you know, it really exemplifies that simplicity and that purity of submission to God, where it's the things of intentions and the things of carrying out the truth and the nature of God is more important than these religious observances. And if you read that record, you know, brother Jesus, you know, when Jesus took his travels to India, you know, the brothers, you know, our ancient Hindu brothers was coming through with the car Krishna. Everybody Google the car Krishna. You'll see what the car Krishna is. And they do all of the wailing and howling and falling out before it, you know, and Jesus he said, man, look at that empty car Krishna. He said, man, the spirit of God not there. You know, so really, man, you know, Moors, instead of trying to fill out paperwork and tell people what they not and correcting statuses, man, really that's a lot of the reason why a lot of our places are empty, you know, mine included. A lot of you know, because they got so many people in the Moorish community that's really giving us a bad name, you know, in that regard, and really, in my opinion, misinterpreting, you know, this message. Just get in touch. If you take all of that stuff away, all of the bells and the whistle, you know, basically what Prophet Noble Drew Ali is telling you, yes, you are Moorish American, you are what your forefathers are. But when you get into the basic meaning of that Holy Qur'an of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it's telling you to get your divine right. And people miss that because everybody is so mundane and they're waiting for one day the fact of them being a Moorish American is going to open up the floodgates of some financial benefit to them. You know, we know that might be coming one day in that regard, but you know, that's all dependent upon work, you know. But a lot of people are into a lot of spookism, you know, in regard to the Moorish American paradigm as far as materially, without wanting to touch that God. I talked to some brothers in New Orleans the other day. See, there wasn't no Moors down here before me and my wife, you know, basically got on, opened up the temple down here. But now they got all kinds of little crazy little Moors popping up. And this brother had a picture of the prophet in his demo, and they had some kind of event, and they was telling people they was go correct this. Man, they filled the chairs. They had standing room only in that, because nobody not really looking for the divine. They just trying to figure out how they can get rid of their credit card bills. You know, people missing the whole, in my opinion, brother Taharka, people missing the whole message. You will miss about how to unify and become God, divine yourself, waiting for fighting the Social Security Administration or fighting somebody behind a traffic ticket. So that's my whole thing on prayer. Just connect with the divine. And, you know, but the main point that I want to make is that when you read that Quran of Mecca and those stipulations behind what those brothers could consider salat and everything that you have to do, it's not even in there. It just say prostration. And I say peace with that, brother.
Well, I tell you what. Now I'm gonna give my little spill on this before we bounce, and then we're gonna do a part 2, and we're gonna talk about some of these false misrepresentation of Moorish American and Islamism. Well, first of all, in the Holy Quran of Mecca, just as my brother said, it never gives you specific detail. And if you talk to anybody that reads the Holy Quran of Mecca, no matter how versed they are in it, they will tell you, get your mic for me, brother Grimion. They will tell you that no, it's not in the Quran, but it's the Sunnah. We'll follow the Sunnah. And then my question becomes, is the Quran holy or is the Sunnah holy? And they would have to admit that the Quran is the holy book. The Quran is the book of instruction, but we follow the Sunnah. Okay, follow the Sunnah. I'm with that. No problem. But is the Quran the holy book, the holy revealed word of God? If the Quran is the holy revealed word of God, let's start with that. And in the Quran, although it talks about prayer quite a few times within the Quran, one of the main ones that is in the Quran, one of the main quotes in the Quran about prayer is Surah 30, verse 17, ayat 17, however you want to do it, it's all right with me. And it tells you, so give glory to Allah when ye reach eventide, that's 1. And when ye rise in the morning, that's 2. 18. Yea, to him be praised in the heavens of the earth in the late afternoon, that's 3. And when the day declined, that's 4. In the Quran, it actually mentions 4 times to pray. And as my brother said, it don't specifically tell you how. So when people say, well, it don't tell me how, that's when we refer to the Sunnah. But the Moorish American Muslim, we look for universal truths. So in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it tells you to bow down in humble discretion to his obedience, which could be interpreted as a prostration. Now, 100 years from now, somebody say, well, you know what? This is how it was done. This is how it's supposed to be done. 200 years from now, 300,000 people running around doing it in a certain way. When right now, it's in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America to bow down thyself I think it says something, I'm paraphrasing, don't quote me on this, to his humble discretion, something to that effect, which can be interpreted as a prostration. First of all, let's look at the language of the Quran, the Holy Quran of Mecca. When we look at the language of salat, salat only means prayer. Salat does not mean a particular prayer. In the language, and this is just the basics, do the research. In the language, salat, prayer, is equivalent. It is what it is. Salat, prayer, is equivalent. Now, all of the postures that we use to signify this prayer is not what makes you a Muslim. What makes you a Muslim is the essence of what prayer is. So the command is given, as I just read. That's what you should do. But now, what is the essence of prayer? It is the communion, the communication in the depthness of your soul, in the deepness, in the weight, in the way deep down, in that quiet place where you have to be still in order to commune with the great divine that we call Allah. In the Quran, it teaches you that Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein. Your jugular vein is on you. So Allah must be in you. The Prophet of Noble Drew Ali said the nearest place to meet Allah is in the heart. We identified the heart as a fleshly pumping thing, but we know the heart of the matter is the center point of something. You must go to the center point of your being and commune with the great divine whom we call Allah. Hold on one second. Laptop going out. Let me plug it up. Hold on. So what truly is prayer? Let's look at the Buddhist people. The people who study Buddhism. Their form of prayer, they will call it meditation. Yet the same principle is applied. They're trying to move from the outward to the inward of their being. So they slow themselves, they calm down, and they get focused, and they move from the outward to the most deep center point of their being to commune with the spirit of the divine who dwells within. Anything outside of that, any posture, any pose, is ritual, tradition, and it only verifies or signifies what you must be doing within. So you look at the position of salat as it relates to prostration on the sunnah level. Every position is significant to something that you should be doing within. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, man comprehend the inner world by the things he see in the outer world. I'm not quoting, I'm paraphrasing so you can get it. So everything that people do outward as it relates to the divine is a reflection of what they should be doing inward. So the baptism, the dua, dawa, with the washing, the cleansing. What you do out, you need to cleanse within. And this is what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches. He gives a practical, universal teaching of Islam. And this is what we call Islamism. Where I just explained, it can be applied in China with somebody making meditation, doing meditation. It can be applied with somebody that say, you know what? I'm going to do 300 rakas. What up? You understand what I'm saying? You know what? I'm going to stand on my squares of Moorish American, and I'm going to say this Moorish American prayer to get in tune. I'm going to say it 7 times, 7 times. But the whole purpose is to go from without of your being to commune with the Creator, the Spirit of God who dwells within. That's why I say in the Quran, it doesn't tell you specifically how to do it, but it tells you to do it. So what I just read, it says 4 times. I think if you got time, you should pray 100 times a day. It says in the Quran, you can pray on your side. You can pray to the east. You can pray to the west. For Allah is the God, is the Allah of all directions. They'll tell you that part. You see, this is the universal Allah that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali speaks about. So the Moorish American Muslim is one who pulls out the essence of a thing. Not so much what you see of a thing. Because what you see is nothing but an illusion. But what happens where the eyes can't see, in the heart of the soul, is where the true change take place. We're going to have a part 2. With that, I want to bring my brother Ali Bey back in. And so I don't want to stay too late. It's 10:41. We had some technical difficulties. But what we will address next time is, what are the people, our brothers and sisters, and those outside of our people, calling Moorish American Muslim and Islamism? We're going to address some of these things. Ali Bey, come on in, my brother. Any closing words, my brother?
Good show. I mean, you know, good show as always, bro. And I'm looking forward to the next one. I think in terms of answering the question of what is a Moorish American, I think it's pretty much, I think that's pretty much answered. Hopefully everybody understood it. And you know, that's basically it. I'm just looking forward to the next show, bro.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you what, my brother say he's looking forward to the next show. It's gonna step on some toes, but it's all right. That don't mean you're not my brother. That don't mean you're not my sister. But if you living outside of the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, you're gonna get your toes stepped on. And if you get your toes stepped on, and band it up, come join with me so we can get in tune and get in accord with the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, so we can get some work done. We're not gonna get no work done all over the place.
Right.
And that's the facts. You see, Islam as, listen, we look at Islam as an Arab faith. I don't, but I'm just saying, consciously speaking, of what people look, how they view Islam. But as you see in the post that I put up, if you read the caption on the side, Indonesia have more Muslims than anywhere else in the world.
It's a fact. That's a fact.
And guess why? Because the uniformity of thought of those who propagated Islam. When they came from Indonesia and went into Saudi Arabia or Arabia and they took it back, or those that went into Indonesia and brought it with them, it was the uniformity of thought, not necessarily the uniformity of custom, that made it so influential. And that's the same thing we have to get to, the uniformity of thought. Bring me on in. Come on in, my brother. Let's wrap this up.
Yes, sir, brother man. I'm here. Indeed. With that being said, I mean, more, I really can't add too much more to that, except that, I'd like to see, a lot, people have their opinions. People could believe what they believe. That's what we're about: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So, people can think what they want to think or whatever, say what they want to say, but I really would like to see, like what the name of this show is, Moorish World, Moorish World TV. What I would like to see, in the Moorish world is a lot of our Moorish American brothers and sisters, back off a lot of what I called earlier is a lot of Moorish spookism, a lot of things that's ungrounded in history, a lot of things that's illogical. I would like to see a lot of our brothers and sisters, back off some of these illogical so-called legal claims. You know, that I would like to see that, and I would like to see, you know, the Moorish Science Temple of America, you know, like these valuable lessons that you just finished talking about, Brother Taharka. You know, I would like to see people expound on this. I would like to see, you know, when you go on to Moorish Science Temple of America website, you can see Grand Sheikh Taharka Bey, you know, speak on the unity of Allah, and another brother speaking on, you know, self-improvement from the aspect of these lessons. You know, you can go to TD Jake's website, you can buy 1 million books, 1 million CDs. So I would like to see people writing on good stuff, man, that people could actually use in practically making themselves better individuals, better Moorish American Muslims. That, you know, guides written by sisters on how to dress, you know, because I would like to speak on that too more. And I might step on a few toes when I say this, but like when you see like Nation of Islam sisters on social media, with the exception of a few, you know, you don't see them with booty hanging out and boobs pressed up against the camera and stuff like that. You know, you scroll on some of these Moorish sisters websites, you know, they know different than a lot of the sisters who don't know nothing at all. And you know, I find it, you know, really you know, really like disrespectful. And then you will see them, you know, doing whatever. Then they'll say they're ill or they are bait. You know, you see them with the you know, with the big old drink in their hand or something like that, chilling out in the club. You know, I mean, and I'm not judging anybody, and I'm not trying to play like this puritanical person, because I ain't perfect at all. But you know, I would just like to see some form of unity, or uniformity, if you will, or regards to the morals and the ethics of what a person in the Moorish Science Temple of America is supposed to inculcate, man. And with that, I say peace and love. Oh, and the brothers too. Let me, you know, I don't want to just put the sisters out there too. You know, they got some brothers and stuff out there raw too. They be turbaned up, phased up, and the next thing you know, you see them sharing. Oh man, look at this one, look at that one. You know, you know. So you know, we just got a lot of things, you know, going on in that regard. And I would like to see, you know, like I know I'm stepping on some toes, but I would like to see, you know, this community cleaned up and reformed. Like I said, you see those NOI sisters and brothers cleaned up. You know, I really would like to see, you know, like brothers look more like Ali Bey and Sharif and yourself with suits on and stuff like that, as opposed to, you know, a bubble jacket with their pants hanging down and the fez on. You know, we gotta clean this demo up. So, you know, with that, I love you, brothers, and I say peace and love.
Peace, 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 my brother.
Peace, bro.
Let me say this. Let me say this real quick, and then we're gonna roll up out here. One of my main goals is when I started Moorish World TV, was to try to clear up the misconception, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clear up the misconceptions, and I'm going to employ my brothers to do the same with me, to clear up the misconceptions. And in clearing up the misconceptions, some feelings gonna get hurt. But that don't mean I'm not your brother. That don't mean it's coming from a bad place. I will never throw you under the bus, but the ideals in which you approach Moorish science and a holy and divine prophet will be addressed if they out of context. It is what it is. See, when we look at other groups of people, whoever they may be on the face of the earth, one thing for sure is they hold their spiritual systems sacred. They hold their customs sacred. That's why when you look at a Muslim in the Middle East, they look alike in the sense that they were looking alike before Muhammad came. They hold it sacred. You know, the Moorish American Muslim must become of one thought. And not saying that we're going to, quote unquote, look alike. physically, but we need to begin to look alike characteristically. No, we might not dress alike materialistically, but we should look alike characteristically. Our character should be straight in accord with one another at all times. At all times. When someone see you, they should already know there's something different about you. This is a Moorish American Muslim. A Moorish American Muslim is one who hands, words, and thoughts don't harm others. I'm going to say it one more time. A Moorish American Muslim is one who hands, words, and thoughts do not harm others. If you see people on social media with an L or Bay on their name and they coming at people sideways, on that given day, they have exchanged their Moorish American identity for something else. If you see somebody on Facebook popping bottles with the L Bay on their name, no pun intended, it is what it is. I love you. Whoever you are. At that point, they have exchanged their title as a Moorish American Muslim for something else. Goes for the loose sisters too. I don't care what you subscribe to, but when you got the L Bay, whatever on your name, with that name comes a certain character. When I walk into Walmart and I see the lady with the vest on, I already know she can help me in Walmart. I ain't got to guess. Even if she can't, I'm going to her for help because she got that vest on. When I go to if I need help with the in the city and I see a police officer, I got a flat. Man, I ain't talking about no old punk stuff. I'm talking about I got a flat. Hey, man, can you call me a tow truck? My cell phone did, I got a flat. Why? The police are here supposedly to serve and protect. That's another argument. My point is the uniform identifies the title. And then there's supposed to be a character that follows. We walk around with these titles, L's and Bay. There's a character that's supposed to follow it. There's a character that's supposed to follow it. So I'm telling you, if you're not a Moorish American, right? If you haven't proclaimed your nationality, right? And you following this stuff on social media, listen to me. If you see someone with an L or Bay on their name, or both, and they're talking reckless, at that point, they have given up their birthright. They have given it up. Because a Moorish American Muslim, and this is from the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, is one who hands, words, and thoughts do not harm others. That ain't talking about being a chump, because we believe that justice can take its course. That's talking about being proactive in your evolution of becoming the person that God designed you to be. We don't believe that we was born in sin. We believe we are perfect, but not yet perfected. We got some work to do. God, Allah, made us perfect, made you perfect. He ain't made you no sinner. You wasn't born no sinner. He made you perfect. Yet you are not perfected. You just like God wanted you to be. But now you got some work you got to do so you can become what God has designed you to be for the long haul. It is what it is. Now check this out. I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I love y'all family. Dad, I told y'all this going into a teaching platform. I can't keep fighting me. They don't want to fight me no more. Son, they don't want to fight me no more. I knocked them out. So now he come with ghost accounts. And it start hitting my Facebook page. So now he come in the chat room if I say something, you know, with ghost accounts. You know what I mean? I knocked him out. He don't want to fight no more. Man down. So now since I knocked him out, now we gonna raise him up. I'm just playing, family. With that, I say peace. Peace and love, family. We out. It's 11 o'clock. Next Wednesday, we're gonna pick this up. I'm gonna name this part 1, and then I'm gonna put the for part 2 on Wednesday, and we're gonna talk about the flip side, as I was just talking about, the L's and Bays that run around calling themselves L's and Bays, but they don't do nothing in the ways of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And with that, I said, peace, family. 1.